Hi, I'm Vivian, the knitter.
And I'm Allison, the crocheter, and you're listening to Keep Calm and Carry Yarn. This is not what we do when the intro music is playing.
We go like this.
To each other. But we're videoing again.
Last one for a while.
Until the summer, potentially. But this is our knitting and crochet podcast. As I said before, I'm a crocheter, only crochet. My mom is the knitter.
Yes.
And we're together because, as you probably already know, past weekend was the Edinburgh Yarn Festival, and we are together because of that.
Yes, and I'm in Allison's flat for the very first time.
Welcome to my flat, bookshelf, Harry Potter, all the foreign editions. Yeah, so we have a special BuzzFeed quiz for today because in honor of where we are, it is a Scottish themed
Yes, it is.
quiz that I'm just gonna pull up just now, and it's called "You're Not Scottish Unless You Score 10 out of 12 on this Complete the Sentence quiz," which I didn't realize what that was gonna be until So, I got a 8 out of 10.
I got a 6 out of
8 out of 12. Sorry, 8 out of 12.
I got a 6 out of 12.
So neither of us is Scottish. Surprise! But they were all like Scots sort of sentences, like
your bums oot the
windy, which apparently means you're talking rubbish.
And I got that right.
You got that right. Monia Mickle Maxa Muckle. I got that right just because it's all alliteration.
Is this on mine or yours?
No, it's on mine. You put. Yeah.
I did the same thing. Okay, I got.
But I feel like the alliteration just sort of. But let's see, the first one I got wrong was.
I got that one wrong.
It's a Sarah.
Fight.
It's probably one of those
for half
a.
I said lager.
I said jobby, and it's loaf.
And what does it mean?
It's a sword fight for half a loaf, literally. Oh. Life is hard work, and you only get half of what you want. But so possibly living in Scotland helped me a little bit,
but probably not much.
I mean, not enough to be actually Scottish. Which was never gonna happen anyway. So I don't know. If you want to try your hand at that quiz and tell us how Scottish BuzzFeed thinks you are based off of really random. Maybe they're not random. Maybe they're like well-known enough phrases that English people might get them.
Maybe, I don't know. You'd have to ask your
the first one, your bum's out the window one. I knew that was familiar to me. I don't know why.
Well, I don't know. Maybe. Ask your English husband.
We've not done that quiz before, have we?
No.
Okay.
At least not on the podcast. I don't know if we've done it. For fun.
Right. Well, we're gonna do some similar segments. So we'll have our whips, but the majority of this episode will probably just be us talking about the Edinburgh Yarn Festival. So if you're not interested because you went and you're just EYF'd out, you can just not listen to this episode.
Why anybody would be EYF'd out. I
was
sad to go.
If you're so sad that because you weren't able to go, that you don't want to listen to it, you can skip this episode. But mostly that's what we'll be talking about. EYF. So this is my second time going. I went last year, but my experiences have been so different this time versus last time because last time I just moved over to Edinburgh, and I happened to move a month before the festival, and you told me you have to go.
Yes.
So I went, and that was just when we started the podcast, which is therefore just when I sort of started getting back into crocheting after learning as a kid.
Yes.
Not even a hiatus, just like learned as a kid and then didn't actually do anything with it. So I felt like a newbie in a lot of ways. I didn't really know that much about yarn or about crochet or about anybody in the sort of yarn fiber community. So I went all by myself, and I met up with Clarisabeth, and I think she was similar in that she went by herself and she didn't really know that many people. She knew some other like podcasters and stuff, but I think she was a bit shy about talking to people as well and stuff. Although she was recognized by who was Hand Drawn Yarns, and I know I've mentioned that before, and we have since hung out a few times. But this time, especially being part of the podcast lounge, even just being part of the official podcast lounge, sort of I think gave me the
balls,
the confidence to be like, yeah, I need to talk to people, and but also now having crocheted for a while and being part of the community, and Faye got together a lot of different like crocheters and sort of created a little community just around her at EYF, and so I met lots of people that way.
That was very nice of Faye to do that too. Yeah, it made it easier to, and also in a smaller group, it was easier for me to remember names and put the names to their Ravelry or Instagram name, because a lot of times I only know these people by their Instagram name. So
I think it's the same for a lot, like everybody else as well.
I guess. So that was really nice. And yeah, I had a great time. I was very sad for it to be over. Because I wanted to buy all the yarn.
Yeah,
bring everything
was it
home.
Different than like other yarn or?
I mean, this festivals? Is the first time I'm going as like an official person that's representing something. Right?
But so maybe what about just your experience of the actual festival? Like if you were just as a vendor, as the space, the vendors, I thought the space was perfect, and then I liked the way they had sitting area outside of the vendors. That made it nice to catch up with people that you see they didn't have that last year. Well, not as much space.
And yeah, I think it was the perfect size for what it was. Yeah, I think it's just spot on the right size.
Have you been to any other indoor? Because I know like you've been to like sheep and wool festivals, but those would be outside.
No, I'm hoping to go to Stitches, which is really big.
Where's that?
There's going to be one in, I think it's in Hartford, Connecticut, next month, perhaps. I'm not sure. And that's really big because there's Stitches, Midwest and Stitches West. And
would that be indoors then?
That's at a convention center, so that's huge. Yeah. So I haven't really done that many of.
So you don't have much to like comparisons.
Not really.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because the only like sort of, I've come with you to like the New Hampshire
sheep and wool,
but that's
the only thing I've really done, I guess, other than some small things in New York years ago. So not Rhinebeck, some other small ones. So yeah, I haven't really done this before. It was a little overwhelming. You walk in, and I was like, I didn't know I was supposed to wear all of my knitwear at once.
Literally everyone is just wearing fabulous shawls and sweaters
and hats all at once. I was like, oh boy.
In a hot space.
Yes. Like a
venue.
hot conference center. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, so. But it was a lot of eye candy, just looking at all the beautiful sweaters, and just inspires you to want to make more and buy more yarn and make more stuff. And things that are in my queue already, like, oh yeah,
it reminds
me of like, I have to do that. Or even I've already bought the pattern for that, but I haven't made it yet because I'm making all these other stuff and I need more time. There's just not enough time in the day to knit all the things that you want to knit. Yeah.
Less. I feel like for me the inspiration. I mean, if one day I was to design things, you see like the knitwear stuff and how does that translate to crochet? But for me, more of it was color, how people put together different colors.
There's a lot more knitwear than there was crochet.
There was a few people walking by with crocheted garments and crochet shawls and stuff. I feel like half of the crocheters were part of Faye's little group. And then the other half were,
well, even the crocheters were wearing knitwear.
Some of them, yeah. But I thought we could start with some thank yous for people who kindly gave us gifts. Some were like swaps. We had buttons and chocolate and stuff, so we got some stuff as swaps, but we also got some gifts from some other podcasters and listeners and kind people. The first thing that I got was, it happened on Thursday. Faye had organized a sort of
Crochet get together.
Crochet, hookup. Because there was the official knit nights on the Thursday night. And she had a raffle with lots of different things that people had brought.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I won in the raffle. I feel like you didn't get anything, did you?
No, I didn't.
I'm pretty sure
not in the raffle.
half of the people that were there for dinner and drinks and stuff got something because there's so much stuff. But Lisa had made stitch markers. Lisa, who is Lisa Raspberry, I think. I'll put the information up. But she made these stitch markers. And
They're so cute. And those are my colors.
yeah, I don't know if you can really see.
Well,
they're
the turquoises.
yeah, so there's like a little turquoise one, I like the moon one.
Yeah, the moon one's cute.
And is that called a triskelion? Because there was a vendor whose logo
maybe.
was this like
don't know.
little swirl thing, like what is that? Like a triangle, but it's
Yeah, three swirls.
three
stuck
swirls,
together.
and
I don't
the
know
company,
what it's called.
the vendor was called triskelion. I'm like, that sounds like that could be the name of whatever shape that is.
We should Google that.
So I got that. Clarisabeth kindly brought us some Puerto Rican coffee, because she had some with her last year as well. So this year she was like, yeah, you want anything from Puerto Rico? And luckily they were able to get a hold of some coffee because after the hurricane,
Maria,
I think that stuff was harder to come by. And as well as her mom had made this little pendant of like, it's a little felt yarn ball with a little crochet hook. I don't see. We're not video podcasters, so I don't know how to do the thing where like you get the camera to focus on things that are close to it. And I feel like this is now just a list. All of this comes with a thank you very much to all these people.
Thank you.
You're holding.
Everybody was so generous. Yes, I got these cute little cat toys. From...
Like our cats got presents. Like so, Catherine gave us those.
Yeah, they're just so adorable. They're not gonna last very long though. They're gonna rip to shreds in about 30 seconds. But they're so cute.
Mouse shaped with tail.
Fur and tail. It smells good too.
I wish I was gonna go home so I could actually see the babies play with it.
I will take a video.
Yeah, take a video then we'll put it up on the next episode or something. What else did we get? Nicola, who is Creative Explorer on Instagram, got me at least this fun little like mini weaving loom. Yeah, it is very mini. It's like the size of like a greeting card
or index card. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's really cute, and she was saying like perfect for like scrap yarn or something, and so that'll be fun. And
some yummy button shortbread cookies that I think I've already eaten half of it.
Yeah, this morning she went and got one with her coffee, and I was like, "Do you want like real breakfast instead of cookie?" And you said, "No, I just wanted a cookie."
They're very yummy. What else did we get? We got this.
Catherine from Crafting and Trades got us
Look how beautiful
gifted us a skein of her hand-dyed yarn.
So I get to keep this, right?
Yeah, you can keep that because I've already worked with Catherine's yarn before, so I will give you the pleasure this time. I feel like it's slightly more my colors though than yours, which is like it's sort of like a
Halloween edition.
Oh yeah, the colorway is Halloween and it's got purples and orange. It's very autumnal.
It is. It's beautiful.
But what is this type of yarn? I mean, I know it's a single ply, or like one ply. Like it's just the one ply, yeah.
Yeah.
But is it like lace or is it?
Yeah, it's lace weight.
It's how do you
It
pronounce
even
it?
says that. Lace weight.
Oh, lace weight singles. Lol. 25%.
Masham? I have no idea what that is.
Massam. I feel like if it's British, it would be Massam.
If you say so.
I don't know. 25% Romney lambswool.
British.
25% British alpaca, and 25% blue-faced Leicester. Her fabulous floor base.
Yeah, I can't wait to
don't know what you're gonna make with that.
Find a project to go with this.
So thank Catherine.
Thank you. And I think are those
we got these little pin cushions from Faye.
They're so cute.
What is this called?
What, their dog? Oh, needlepoint.
This is needlepoint.
Yes, that's needlepoint.
I'm sure she talked about doing these needlepoint thingies on one of her episodes a while ago, a few months ago. And so now we've got the actual...
We've got some handmade little pink cushions.
Yeah. With the little... what kind of dog is that? I feel like I'm just asking,
know,
what's that? What's that? What's that? As if you know everything. Because I can't just Google things.
Is that like a Jack Russell or something?
Maybe.
It looks like wishbone. Doesn't it?
Maybe. Oh, I know what we're forgetting. The thing that's people who are viewing can see. I've got this felt cat head brooch with buttons for eyes that Rosina from Zines and Roger made.
Mine's on my backpack.
Yeah, yours is a circle.
Yeah,
with like
flower.
a little flower.
It's a flower.
But yeah,
those are really cute.
They're really. I definitely laughed when I opened it, just because like that button eyes are like huge on the cat. It is so cute. Yeah, that is.
So she knows you like cats.
Everybody, I feel like if you like yarn, you have to like cats. Is that a rule?
I don't think so.
I feel like it's almost true.
I'm not sure about that.
So I think that those are all.
Those are all
the gifts that we got. So thank
you.
you.
I've got the lotion
from Catherine as well.
Catherine.
It's mostly all the gifts we got. So thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Gave us
I didn't expect all these little gifts. I mean, I was expecting to swap buttons or badges and things, but not to actually get gifts from listeners and other podcasters.
Yeah.
So
I think it just goes to show you how nice everybody is.
Everybody is nice. Though, yeah, they're all nicer than us.
But I think even like a couple people came and said hi in the podcaster lounge, as well as stopped us in the marketplace to say, "Are you Allison and Vivian?" And that just totally made it. Like, oh my god, somebody recognized us, because we were definitely one of the less known.
I think we were the
least known podcasters in the official lounge, at least.
Yeah.
But it was having somebody come say hi definitely made our day. So thanks.
Yes, thank
anyone
you.
who
said
hi
hello
and made us feel like very special people.
Because at one point I'm like, yeah, look, nobody's coming. But you know, it made me kind of brave to just like push in and just like.
I'm Vivian. I have a podcast. You should listen to me.
Yes.
Maybe not quite like that.
I wouldn't like that, but yeah, a little bit like that. Oh, you want to talk about our purchases or our whips?
We can just keep rolling into our purchases.
Our purchases.
The yarn haul.
I don't think I went too crazy though.
No, you didn't. I don't think either of us went crazy.
Because I saw some big shopping bags.
But we also weren't very restrained. I just was on Instagram and I saw Lynn from the Wool Nest posted her haul, and she said she stuck to her plan. Basically, the only thing that she went over was she bought like a bracelet, and it was very restrained. It was like a book, a couple of skeins, and a project bag.
Oh, I forgot to bring out my earrings.
Okay? Well, do you want to talk about your very first purchase?
My very first purchase were these felted earrings with little sheep on it, like purple and turquoise background. And they actually had a very small list of people that
you had a small list.
I had to see. Like, not the vendors I had to see. I wanted to see all the vendors, but they were the ones that I particularly wanted to see. And she was actually first on my list because it was alphabetical order. Aileen Clark. And they're cute little round dangle earrings. And when we walked into the venue, that was the first stall we saw. And so they were... It
wasn't the first stall we saw, but it was the first one you like...
Made a beeline to?
That you like actually stopped and like went to the actual table. Because the rest, I think we were just sort of absorbing to begin with. We walked down the first aisle and was just
there were some out in the hall too, like in the front entryway. It wasn't just inside the conference center. There were some outside before you get inside.
Not in like the main marketplace room, just on the outside. Yeah, the hallway between the entrance and the seating areas. And
so we walked by those, just kind of eyeball things, and those are my first purchases. I'll have to take a picture of them. Allison could just insert them right here. Those, and then what was your first?
So, well, I had my list, right? So I know I mentioned before that I was gonna make lists. I printed it out and everything. I have like a little booklet with pictures and the recommended yarn.
I did the same thing.
And the meterage and all that jazz. So it gave myself a little bit of structure. So one of the things that I did manage to get that I had mentioned before was the yarn for the pleated cardigan by Cat Golden. And I said I wanted to get that sort of olivey color. And I did. So,
Very olivey.
yeah. I mean, I feel like leading up to this, I kept pointing out to you.
Mm-hmm.
Every
All
time,
the olives that you
yeah.
want.
Every time I saw some yarn or somebody's sweater, it's like that's the color. Like, that's the color. That's the color. So finally, I said, that's the color. And then I got it. So it's the
That's very nice,
Knit
yeah.
by Numbers 4-ply John Arbin yarn. And that shelf is always like really pretty because
It's like rainbow order.
yeah, it's a rainbow wall of yarn skeins, plus it goes like left to right, it's like a rainbow, and then from the top to the bottom it's like this,
tonal.
yeah, so they become more saturated as you go up, which I didn't realize when I first was looking at it. So I was looking at just my eye level was about middle of the shelf, and I was looking at that, I was like, oh, that's like nearly the color I want. And then so I looked below it and I was like, but that looks lighter than the color I want. But maybe it's just the lighting of the room. It's making the yarn look a different color. And I looked up like, no, those are way darker and more saturated. So I went for the most saturated version of this. It is like an olive color, right?
Yeah, it's definitely olive.
Pretty olivey.
Yeah.
And it's really soft. It's 100% pure Falkland merino wool, organically farmed. But who was saying that? Because were you saying because it was loosely plied, it might pill?
Might pill a little bit. Yeah.
Mm.
But then with crochet, it's a little different, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, so that's what I got. So I got 5 skeins of that. What else did you get?
I got 4 skeins of Martin's Lab. Pink.
Raspberry pink.
In a sport weight.
That's tonal, yeah?
Yeah, that's tonal. And it's going to be the Ecstatic Sweater by Isabel Kramer. Yeah. So this is just, it's 100% SW Merino, whatever that means.
Southwest merino. I have no idea.
And the colorway is Lady Bouquet, and it's very pretty.
And Martin's Lab was another place that was on your list.
But yeah, they were on my list. So I got that, and I got a book from them
Called
called Stillness, and it has all these pretty patterns.
Oh, so I didn't realize it's a collection curated by Martin's Lab.
Yeah, so there's lots of famous people in there that have made, I think everybody's famous. I think I might have knitted half of
Isabel Kramer's on there.
Isabel Kramer, Kristen Kapoor, Sylvia McFadden, Subi Samoa. This is Subi Samoa. This sweater, Woolly Wormhead. So they all have patterns in here. They're mostly accessories, like hats and scarves.
And the woman that was working at the Martin's Lab stall was wearing the cowl that's on the front of the book, which is sort of a, how would you describe that?
It's done in one piece, and then you fold it over, so it's double layered.
And then it's got holes so you can see the inside layer.
Yeah.
Which I don't really like those holes. It makes me think of like creepy crawlies or like.
Oh, you have that thing with holes. What's
yeah,
that
I don't
called?
like. I don't know. It's not really a phobia. I just think it looks gross. In case if you're listening, the pattern is it's by Isabel Kramer. It's called.
Of course I like it.
What's it called?
Abulon.
Abulon.
Something like that. And
They kind of gave you.
they gave me some patterns.
Some free patterns.
That
A shawl, a hat, and 2 hats.
hat. Yeah. So that was really nice of them. Thank you.
What do you think? Thank you for? You gave them lots of money with your sweater's quantity of yarn.
Of yarn, and that's all I bought the first day, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, I got this too.
Oh.
I got the Hedgehog Fibers skinny singles
in a blue.
Go figure.
Yeah. But it's got speckles of like purple and brown,
pink,
yellow.
It's very pretty. I don't know what this will be, but it'll be something pretty.
So this is also single ply, but that seems.
But it's
heavier
like
than
lace weight.
It's still lace weight,
Isn't it?
I don't know.
It's
You're supposed to be the expert.
It's a light fingering weight, probably.
So you got that at the Stephen and Penelope stall, which is the yarn shop in Amsterdam.
Amsterdam, yes. That Stephen West. The Stephen West.
The Stephen West. Is he associated with them? Or
yeah, I mean, I think it's her store, and I'm not sure. He
is he
has
Dutch?
Something to do. No, he's American, but he lives there now.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Stephen West. I don't know anything about knitting. That was one thing. People, even on the Thursday when we were sat at the hookup, the crochet hookup, you were sat next to some knitters, and you guys were talking about referencing this designer and that designer's pattern and like that cow. I don't know, and I'm just sat here like I don't know what you're talking about. Like one person would say something, and you'd be like, what? And then they would say something else to explain. Like, oh yeah, and they did that too. And I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
You just have to learn some. I'm learning some more crochet stuff.
Yeah. I made a joke that we should start taking bets to see how long it'll take me before I pick up a set of knitting needles.
Yeah.
I think it'll be in the years. Yeah. So if anyone wants to try to, you'd also got at the Stephen and Penelope stall.
Oh, the knit one, the pin that says
resting knit
face.
They were also.
No. That's a gift.
Yeah.
So I did.
Who knows who it might be for?
But that was really cute.
But they had tote bags that said resting
knit
face as well.
Yeah,
just funny.
That's a cute one.
So the rest of my purchases, I got.
What you got on the first day?
On the first day, okay. So I bought. Actually, you know what I bought, which is not in front of me just now, is actually. Can you just grab it? It's just under there. The shawl. The crochet.
Oh, the book.
Yeah, sorry. So I got the Shawl Project Book 3 last year at last year's festival, and I wore the Wisteria Trellis shawl to the festival first day, and I met Joanne's Grace. I took a picture, and I got a little patch because I was wearing one of their designs. So this year I've now bought Book 4, which is all about like ombre. Well, yeah, it's the shawl project.
Yeah.
But it's concentrating on sort of like ombre yarns, whereas book 3 had concentrated on mini skeins.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought that.
It's good to have a theme.
Mm-hmm. So I bought that, and then immediately after, pretty much, I then bought a skein of gradient yarn. And so this is La Fille Fil. Yep, sure. La Fille Fil. It's French.
La Fille Fille. Fille? Oh no.
Is it La Fille Fille? Because that would be great.
No. But it's French.
Yeah. So they had a bunch of the cakes hanging from the walls of their stand, and this one was hanging, but it was caked
dark,
up in the opposite direction. So it had orange in the middle, and then a dark gray on the outside, and then the fade in. So, but the one I got, it's obviously the same yarn, but aesthetically, I was saying I liked how it looked when it was light in the middle and dark on the outside. Of course, whatever I make won't fade radially, most likely.
Well, it all depends on if you pull it out from the middle or if you work from the outside.
It's kind of I think it was that particular way it transitioned from the dark on the outside to the orange on the inside that made me really like it. Because I think if I had...
Why didn't you take that one?
Well, it doesn't matter, does it? Like, it's going to work up the same. But I think because I saw it like that first, I was like, ooh, I like that. Whereas if I had seen it with the orange on the outside and the gray on... I don't think I would have been like, ooh, I need that.
Yeah.
Because now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, it is a bit of a weird combination. It's very Halloween-y.
Yeah, but what amazed me was how creative some of the displays were, how you're displaying the yarns and things. So yeah, there's a lot of creative people out there.
But yeah, so I bought that, and it actually coincidentally looks like it reminded me of the colors they've chosen for the Shawl project for one of the designs. It's more, fades from a purple to a mustard, but in the picture it kind of reminded me of The orange to the grey. That doesn't sound like it would be similar, but it does look kind of similar. And I might make that.
Things like these colors.
Yeah, it's kind of, well, Halloween. It's kind of like the colors
true.
from the skein that Catherine gave us of her Crafted in Treats yarn. But just so you know which pattern I was talking about that I might make with that ombre yarn, it's the Intersection by Joanne's Grace, and that's in the Shawl book for it's
That's
kind of
beautiful. I like the shells.
like shells, like really large
Shells.
interconnected shells.
Yeah.
And it's more like a scarf. Yeah, it's a
definitely more
scarf.
like a
It's a
scarf.
scarf, which is more up my alley anyway. So I'm babbling. What else did I get? I got a skein from Ching Fiber, which they had their own stalled in there.
Yeah, they did.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because the
More orange.
Hmm?
There's more orange in that.
There's a little bit of orange in it, but it's a speckled. Speckled, is it speckled? Sort of.
I think it's I guess
Somewhat.
it's speckled.
The label on it, someone's written the colorway on it. It's called soft gray, and I'm not sure there's any gray on
There's
this.
a little bit of gray in it.
So it's a light colored. Yeah, there's like bits of gray and pops of like bright blue and some like pinky apricot, and so I was thinking I would use this as the start to my blur shawl, but I'm having a hard time trying to figure out what to fade it into. So I got, to go with it, 2 mini skeins of a bright coral color to go with it, because it kind of, I don't know if you can really tell, but it goes with some of the corally bits in the Ching fibers. And the mini skeins are Olan, hand dyed in Iceland, it says. But I bought it from the Yak stall, which stands for Yarn and Knitting, which is a yarn shop.
I love their little logo.
It's a yarn shop in Brighton, and they have a really cute little logo on their postcards and on their stuff. So I bought the mini skeins to go with the Ching fiber. Caroline, Clarisabeth's mother, and also host of the new Mind and Muse podcast, helped me pick some of these out. And I also got a second full skein of the Olan in Quarry. It's just superwash merino and nylon sock yarn, and that's like a very grungy sort of it's denim-y. It's got some dark purples and speckles of kind of browns and mustard, and it just appealed to me. I actually saw this on our like first or second run through, made a note of it,
and
went back for it. Yeah. Oh wait, actually, did I buy this on day 2?
I don't remember.
Maybe. So we both have a little bit of more yarn to talk about, yes?
Yes. I didn't buy anything on the day 2.
But I thought maybe we would just take a short break, and we were able to record a little bit at...
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we were able to...
With a few special guests.
So I think that's about 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. So you guys can enjoy that, and then we'll be back with some more purchases and our whips.
Yep.
Hey guys, so we're at the Edinburgh Yarn Festival, and we are joined with some special guests, more than anticipated. And our surprise special guest is Louise from Caithness Crafts, over here. And we've got Clarisabeth from Crochetcakes,
Hi.
which I'm sure a lot of our listeners probably know about already. And her mom, Caroline, previously of Crochetcakes, but now of Mind and Muse. 2 episodes deep.
2 episodes deep.
I think that's not a great phrase.
Hello to my returning viewers. Or listeners in this case.
Yeah, and we're also on day 2 of the Edinburgh Yarn Festival. Well,
day 2 for us.
Day 2 for us. Day
3
for you. How's that going?
Very tired. Need more coffee.
We heard you didn't even get any shopping in yesterday.
No, didn't. No. But I've been, that's what I was doing just now.
Oh, sorry. We interrupted your shopping.
Your mom interrupted my shopping.
I literally ran into her on the way to the toilet and said, "Hey, we're recording. You want to come with us?"
And then
that's what happened.
You didn't just say, like, please let me in. I need to be.
She got dragged here. She got dragged here. Magically, she put down some magic dust appeared, and I just went for a hug, and then pulled in, and all of a sudden she's here. So hello. Well,
So this
it's all been fun and games. It's all been good magic.
yeah,
all around,
yeah.
so.
And this is your first Edinburgh Yarn
This is my
Festival.
first time at the Edinburgh Yarn
How's it
Festival.
going so far?
Well, I guess since Clarissa had been here previously, I kind of knew that it was going to be a shock once you went in, so I prepared myself.
Brace
And
yourself.
I had no
I'm braced
plan
too.
of purchasing because I had done a lot of purchasing. I didn't stick to my yarn band that I had wanted to.
Yes,
my
she
plan,
warned you, but not well enough apparently.
my plan was to come and look, observe, and see. I really wanted to see the people.
Yeah.
And so I didn't think I would be buying much yarn, but I was wrong at that too.
So what's the highlight been so far?
Oh, the actual highlight has been. Can you zoom in? Oh, I guess you can't zoom in when you're audio casting, but the earrings that your mother has on has been the highlights.
yeah.
Of, they were felted. They're little felted earrings, and I think they're beautiful.
Aileen Clark, she's wonderful.
Do you remember the name of them?
Yeah,
Aileen
Yeah.
Clark.
Aileen Clark.
Are we
Maybe you
doing
can
video
get
or
close up
audio?
on
I'm
that.
confused.
And I thought they were just beautiful. I purchased a kit there also of a mat that had already had a design on it, a piece of felt on which you can fill it in with felt and create it's a bird. They had birds
Oh,
and they had the sheep. So I thought that was great. Sorry about all the yarn sellers here, but I was impressed.
The different sort of.
Well, to be
art.
fair, that was my
Well,
first purchase.
I told her that that's been like the best part for me this year because I feel that last year they had all yarn related and no other crafts, and this year they actually brought in a spinner and felting and.
I feel like there was. I feel like we were all just so overwhelmed because it was our first year.
They might have been here.
There might have been. Yeah, you're probably right.
So we're trying to.
And at one point on the lunch table, somebody came in and said, "Hey, did you guys see this chunky yarn? It's alpaca and silk, and it's only £8.
$8,
You need to go and buy it." And
You
Where
guys
was
it was
the
the
It's
alpaca
E6.
Oh, turning down Alpaca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
E6.
Do they still have? They don't.
I
think
will
they're
go find out.
clearance bin.
Yeah.
And so I got a load of that.
Mm-hmm.
Quite
And then Clarissa wanted to have Scotland yarns,
Yeah.
so we got.
I bought this. I think
Well, I got a load of
I
that.
don't
She just
know.
got one. She was able. She
This
had
is
control.
No can
Nocando.
No can do.
Oh, I'm so glad we have Louise
No,
here.
good.
To translate.
Translate.
And so.
He's very interesting to talk to.
Yes, he knows a lot about his
He was
business. He
he was
definitely
the one
does.
that carded the yarn fleece yarn. What was it at that point? I don't know.
Fleece?
The fleece. He carded the fleece to with the Cheviot yarns that they've got.
Mhm.
He was the one that did that.
Mhm.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
And so I
very
got.
hands-on. He's got the dyed ones that they've got as well.
Yeah.
Really, really nice.
Yeah, he said they're trying to have all natural dyes, so they just kind of choose plants from around the mill
Oh wow.
to dye the
To
yarn.
get the natural.
Well, that was that.
I'm gonna try some with some avocado pips that we
Yeah.
still have at home. Some avocado stones.
I want to go back and get some more. It wasn't expensive.
No,
it was
it's-
£13.50, and it's he said they just pick whatever's in season to dye the yarn.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was great.
It's a lovely visit if you go. It's up near Elgin, up in the
Oh yeah.
northeast of Scotland.
I picked up.
I see
we
it
picked up
says
a blend.
weaving in the heart
but
of
it was really
Speyside, and
soft.
the only thing I know about that area is whiskey.
I'll have that then. Yeah, I'm doing a marathon round there, so
Oh really?
yeah, and you run from distillery to distillery to distillery
Oh,
for 26
She's a
miles.
whiskey expert.
And
Is that to taste the whiskey?
you don't get it until the end.
How do you keep going then?
Half a marathon, I think I probably could, because we've done it before in a New Year's run, and you get to the top of the hill and you get your dram, have your dram. I was drunk by the time I got there. She didn't know how much to give, and I was like, keep pouring, keep pouring. But this one you get at the end, and I could go to Knock and do mill at the same time.
Oh.
Just keep running. Fantastic.
Nice.
And what keeps you coming other than your
Friendship.
Yeah.
Definitely friendship. Meeting you, friendship. Hearing you, and then I kept saying, just talk because I'm driving just now. Oh yes, there you are. And meeting new people, it's really lovely.
It's great for meeting new people and people that you think you're already your friends because you've seen their faces.
Yeah,
so
literally,
much,
like,
but then when you introduce yourself,
it's
they're
like,
like,
we've never actually
and you realize that.
That
I
happens
realize
to me
that.
all the time.
Oh, I've been doing that so much.
Oh, wait, you don't know me.
I know that's
I am
like that with me and Louise.
inspired by your Instagram.
Faces are familiar and
And even
one
the
or the
names.
other, you're like, I know you. No, you don't.
Right. And then, okay, well, you don't know me, but I'm inspired professional on Instagram, and there's still, because there's so many Instagram names,
I
it's
know.
hard to memorize those too.
But
so,
at least you remember to introduce yourself. Last year I didn't introduce myself to anybody, and I
Oh.
just walked right up to them and said hello.
And anybody I was gonna plan on meeting, I tried to comment on everything that they did weeks before, so that they would see my name a lot, maybe remember me.
That was smart. I just go up to people and say, you don't know me, but I've been following you for a long time.
Yeah, and then Vivian proceeded to say, and I don't comment, so you're probably not.
I never barely comment.
No, then I try to prove my loyalty by saying, oh, and how's your daughter? And how's your business? How's your job? Is your neck better? And, you know?
Yeah, I do follow those.
And it lets them know that you actually do follow them,
Uh-huh.
and it gets a little cozier, it gets a little friendlier.
Yeah.
But it's all been great. I haven't found anybody here that, well, maybe, well, we're all touchy, so maybe somebody I might have got up and gone, you know, touched somebody to say hello and feel they pull back because they really don't know me.
Yeah.
But that's just a cultural difference.
Plus, just now, it's
But most people
I want to.
Oh yeah, I feel like this is a place
Proceed.
everyone's like,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
And there's, and what are you wearing? You can go up to anybody and say, or you get totally, jumper, look at that! And you straight across the room, and then there's the chickens. Have you seen the people with the chicken?
Yeah.
And
Wait, chickens in their hair?
like a big knit.
And that chicken hat.
I haven't seen
Isn't
that.
that, isn't that
so
what
good.
Stephen West had on this morning?
Maybe.
He
Yeah,
was
see,
wearing
yeah.
an actual
I
hat.
thought it was a baseball cap.
It's a baseball cap.
Oh, but it had a chicken on it.
Did it?
Well,
I don't know, it was very abstract. It was very
Oh, my
abstract.
flowers.
But I have seen the chickens.
Yeah.
But he was
They
wearing
have,
a
the
knit
chickens have a
jumper.
blog.
Oh.
they
And they're
have a
Swedish.
blog?
Yeah.
The chicken
Swedish
have a
chicken
blog.
blog.
And inside the chicken, because they've chicken hats, and then they've got chicken pajama cases maybe, and one of them has a wine bag inside because it's perfect for keeping your chicken shape. It's got water in it just now.
Oh,
I was like, well, can we buy a glass and share?
Do you rather think that we should all have a chicken and a straw?
So what's been your favorite?
Definitely, yeah, I think the meeting people this year, because last year we'd done all of 2 episodes. I was still pretty new into my crocheting journey anyway, so I was really hesitant with like the yarns and just everything. It was all really overwhelming, and I felt like I just didn't know enough to be there. Because you basically sent me. You were like, "Oh, you're gonna be in Edinburgh in time. You have to go to the yarn festival." All right, and like.
And she gave you a list of people that you needed to say
Oh, I was
hello
meant
to.
to find you. At that point, I'd not listened to your podcast. I didn't know what your face looked like. So I stood around with Clarisabeth with a phone, with your Instagram and a picture of you. I'm like, do you see this woman? Like, obviously, I did not find you in the end.
Well, you're going in my pocket. I keep you.
So having a second chance and like actually knowing some more people and being a bit more into the community has been really, really nice. Yeah.
I find it quite inspiring as well because we're all sitting here wearing such wonderful outfits, and
Yeah.
I'm going to say, oh, who's designed that? Is it you?
This is,
And
this was name?
Helen Stewart.
Oh, Helen Stewart.
Helen Stewart, you know, Helen Stewart, I was talking yesterday with the Periscoping sisters, and she came into the group, and one of the sisters introduced her. This is Helen Stewart. Do you know her? Helen Stewart, Helen Stewart. And then I'm like, oh, I think I have a shawl in my bag. The
Did you take it
designer, a face to the designer.
Did you take it
I
out?
didn't see her
I did.
yesterday.
Oh my
I was hoping
God.
to see her yesterday, but I
But
didn't.
last year I was sitting knitting on her Dragonflies Rising shawl, and it was purely because it was ready to take. Because you know you just
Yeah.
want something that to take and just sit and knit. And I went, oh Helen, I'm knitting your pattern. So one of the girls passed it over and she signed it for me. I love her podcast. And she passed pass it back. So this year I was wearing it and tracked her down, but I put beads in and it was a dragonfly's rising. So she took photos of it. Oh, Helen, I love it more. But
That's great.
to go around, and then we went back to Blackburn. We showed the cardigan I'd made, and to go the crochet project for you, and
Yeah.
oh, it's
So it was really
That's our
funny.
one
so inspiring.
thing.
We bought books yesterday. Did you buy a book?
Yeah, I bought the.
I forgot to
before
get it
as well.
signed.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I got a picture with Joanne though this year because last year I didn't really know. Like
Oh,
I did. I think I'd seen some of her. I'd done her caroling top.
Yeah, you were doing. You
Or
were
was
working on it.
Oh, yeah, but I didn't actually say hi to her because I was just like, wasn't this year I said hi?
She wasn't here last year when we came.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was
See, I
hand
didn't-
golden.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so this year I'm like, I know things now.
I basically made it my goal to stalk Cat Golden's Instagram this year, so that when I walked up to her and mentioned my name, she would
Well, yeah,
She
that's
like
the
mother
thing
and
to do.
daughter.
That's the
Because
strategy.
we've exchanged food ideas. Because she posts a lot about her sheep, so I'm like, I know your sheep.
Talk about my name. Yeah. How's what's one of their names?
Oh, I don't know quick names.
Oh, you're not that good a friend then.
I'm terrible.
Yet.
Yet. That's the improvement. There's
Well, that makes me feel better about Louise. I know your kids' names are Sandy and Daisy. I have a dog named
And that
Nico.
makes you less like a stalker. You feel less like a
Yeah, now
stalker.
I'm not
Georgia.
anymore.
One of the girl's name is Georgia. There we go.
You are
It
fantastic.
was somewhere in there. And I know she's got 2 dogs. And she's got goats that stick into the house. They just walk in. And I know that
Oh, see, I've seen that house before. And I've been in the house in the kitchen.
Oh,
I've been
nice.
there.
Well, she's making sourdough.
Yeah.
Nope, we've seen her sourdough too.
Yeah.
We do share quite a lot, don't we?
Yeah.
Sometimes forget other people actually look at it. Or listen, in my case.
Well, originally I didn't have my personal Instagram attached to our
Just a
podcast,
second.
and only recently, a few months ago, you actually listed
Your
my personal account, and I'm like,
following you.
oh, I guess I should unprivate that now.
But yeah, so I think the big takeaway is we love meeting new people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do.
Putting names,
It's
faces
great.
to names.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right, being able to see the people that actually designed or
Oh,
dyed the
yeah.
yarn.
Yeah.
And we store it up as well. It's like a battery.
Yeah.
Like that. It's like a yarn fest battery for the next yarn event
Yeah.
Yeah.
and next year. Some people only make Edinburgh they
Once
only
a year.
want-
Once in a lifetime, or you?
Yeah.
But so shall we say goodbye?
Okay, we will.
Well, thank you.
Bye. And we're back.
Hi.
Hey guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And if you don't know or you haven't listened or watched either Clarisabeth or Caroline or Louise's podcast, go check them out. We'll have all the details in the show notes or below, above, to the side on the video screen. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. So shall we carry on with purchases or should we take a break and talk about... I think we can carry on talking about purchases.
So I like today's event. It was called Meet the Shepherdess, right? We got Meet the Shepherdess.
I haven't finished talking about the yarn I bought. Not.
Okay, let's go back. Rewind.
I've got one more purchase from the first day. It's
Oh,
Skein
yeah.
Queen. And it's so soft I could cry. It is 70% baby alpaca, 20% silk, and 10% cashmere. 4-ply fingering. I bought 3 skeins in order to make a scarf, a Quince & Co. scarf, which you will probably be hearing about when I finally get around to making it. But I was looking at their yarns because I was thinking I could get something to go with the Ching fibers for the blur shawl because there were some things that seemed appropriate, but they've got so many different bases, and the color that I really wanted to go with the Ching fiber was in this. I don't know if it was in this base, but it was in a base that had silk in it or something. And Caroline, once again, was with us trying to help me find something, and she kept pointing out, like, you know, the silk will make it heavier, so it'll stretch, it'll block differently. Is that what it was?
I don't know. I wasn't part of that conversation.
Or the cashmere, I don't know. Whatever her expertise was, she was saying that because, you know, the Ching fibers is just merino and the different yarns blends would
Make it block.
interact with each other differently and stuff. So she convinced me out of that, but then
You still wanted the yarn.
I think this is a different one, but she picked this one up, I was like, oh, what about this? And I looked at the fiber content. I was like, well, but this has the same problem. And she was like, oh yeah, oops, sorry. But then once I touched it, I was like, oh my god, I need it. The colorway is called Enchant, and it's a sort of taupey color, a gray. It's definitely not going to show up right on the camera. But it's a sort of, a soft
Oatmeal.
oatmeal.
I think so.
But I think a bit on the cooler side
Mm-hmm.
rather than the warmer side. So I
just want to
I just
snuggle with it.
Yeah. It's really so soft. It was the yarn when I came home, and you know, I wanted to tell Sam about my purchases, even though he probably wouldn't care. But I was like, you're gonna like this one. Touch it.
And then did he ask if it was going to be for him?
No. But you know, he's very tactile. He likes soft things.
Yeah.
So today's event. Now we can talk about
Today's
the Sunday event.
Was Meet the Shepherdess. So it was just a few vendors. They were all British wool producers.
Not all.
Were they not all?
There was one from Pennsylvania.
Oh, that was.
But the whole idea was they were focusing on farm to skein producers. So it was mostly like farms that produce wool for yarn that were there.
Yeah. So I liked squishing all the yarn.
Mm-hmm.
The first one I got was from Lifelong Yarns, and it's called Yarrow.
The color?
No, that's their base, and it's 50% blackface and 50% blueface Leicester. I can't say that fast.
Is the blackface the Scottish?
I think
sheep?
the Scottish sheep.
Scottish blackface.
So
yeah.
it's all British wools.
Mm-hmm. Is it just natural?
It's a natural color. Yeah, all of their colors were natural. So it's like all the browns and grays and blacks, and it smells sheepy.
So that's like oatmeal-y as well.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Mine's not dyed.
Yeah.
Mine still smells like a sheep.
Mm-hmm.
And I also got this daughter of a shepherdess. DK weight. 50% Hebridean, 25% Zorpals,
I don't know.
25% Exmoor Blueface. I don't know what it is, but it feels wonderful.
It does feel nice.
It's very
That's like
squishy.
a dark brown.
Dark brown. These are all natural because I decided that I should make some hats that are more neutral, so I don't clash every time I put a hat on.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like it's the same color as your hair.
Yeah.
It'll be like stealth hat.
Maybe
Is she
I
wearing a
could-
hat or is it just her hair?
Funny looking hair. Maybe you could put in a little bit of color work in there so it doesn't just look like a part of my hair.
Limited edition yarns.
Yeah.
I know I've heard of them before. Daughter of a shepherdess. Nope. It's just daughter of a shepherd. Daughter of a shepherd.
Oh,
because
daughter of a
the daughter is a shepherdess.
Yeah. I think they were also at the main part of the show too.
They might have been, yeah.
Yeah. And,
Sorry, that's a fire truck just passing by.
And then Isolde's stand was still
Open.
so I bought some Nurtured.
I think the yarn, well, the brand Julie
Asselin.
which is a Canadian brand, I think we've decided.
It's just like it doesn't feel that soft to touch in the skein, but they had a whole samples of it knitted up and it felt wonderful.
It's just
wool. Merino and something.
It's
else.
a mix of different. But it's just 100% wool.
Yeah, just Rambouillet, Targi, and Merino. It did feel so much nicer
When it was knit up.
Yeah.
It's. Oh, now I can actually see the color. It's a bit more blue than I thought. So it's a sort of minty blue color. But when you were looking at it, you were like, oh, I can make a hat out of that. But you couldn't decide what color. And I pointed to this one. I was like, well, I like this one, obviously, because I like the sort of minty colors. And then Mommy said, I can make a hat for you then. So this is going to be a hat for me.
Yep.
I also like the colorway. It's called Through the Looking Glass.
And I think that would look really pretty in this as this.
One of your free patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Tied Knot by Justina Lorkowska. It's like a cabled hat. A little slouchy.
Yeah. I think it would be really pretty as that.
Yeah.
And then it'll be happy birthday.
I bought some yarn on the second day as well. Third day, yes.
Today.
Today, Sunday, the last day of the official
Meet The Shepherdess.
Yarn Festival. It's the same brand, and
Also at the Isolde.
at the Isolde, it
stand.
wasn't even a stand. It was like a whole room.
It's like
to
a whole
itself.
store.
Yeah, it was like a mini store. It's the Lezu fingering. It's 90% SW merino. Don't know what that means still, and 10% silk. And it's
Sweet merino.
Yeah, no, I got nothing. In Goodnight Moon, and it's a mini skein set that goes from, they're all sort of purpley gray, so the darkest one seems to, it's I don't know, it's just a very dynamic, that's not the word I'm looking for, very dark gray, that kind of, it's got bits of more of like a denim color, bits more of a purple, and then it fades out. They're all pretty similar shades and tones, and then the lightest color has light gray, and you can see a bit more of the actual variation of colors. You know, you get everywhere from like a really light pink to a couple speckles of yellow, but like to a darker
A little bit of purple.
teal, and a little bit of purple. So I'm hoping, I spent all weekend trying to find a mini skein set that I liked to use to make the Temperamental Artist shawl that's in the Shawl Project Book 3. So I've got the mini skein set, but I think you also need to get a full 100-gram skein to go with it as well. I think ideally the same color as either the top or bottom ends of the gradient.
And you can get that locally.
Yeah, so
You
I'll
can.
just bring this along with me and try to find something that I think will go well with it as like the top end. So that's what I bought today. That was all I bought today.
Yep.
I didn't buy any of the like Scottish, British wool, but I got some cards
But you live here.
because I live here. So I was like, you know what, I could just get it anytime, or I can, go online and whatnot. And the only benefit being that, or
You have
downside,
to pay for shipping.
potential paper shipping, but also I wouldn't
Be able to touch it.
to touch it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was all the yarn that we.
that's all the yarn I bought. Like, hardly any at all.
It's not too bad because there's two of us, right?
Yeah. It's still a lot of yarn.
I'm trying to convince myself. Apparently, it's not working.
So, but we both were working on projects at the festival
Mm-hmm.
when we had a moment to sort of just sit down, relax, and
And
get
chat.
some-
Yeah, we
and
had a
chat
lot of
and-
chatting done, and chatting and knitting, and I worked on my bubbly, and I did quite a bit. Actually, I would have done more, but I ripped back like 3 inches because it was it's hand-dyed yarn, and it was pulling, like there was a big blob. It would be like right over the boob right here, I guess.
Yeah, so that's
So I
that's
didn't
just
like it.
the gray yarn that you're using as the body of the sweater.
Yeah, so I decided to rip it back, and now I'm just alternating between 2 different skeins, and hopefully the pulling won't be as noticeable. Yeah, I'm thinking.
Let's see.
Yeah. So that's I worked on this, and I worked on an infinity scarf that I started a while ago. So
The blips.
The blips.
You don't have that with you just now.
No, it's in the room.
I was working on a pair of mittens that.
You started after our last episode, right?
Yeah, so I don't think I've talked about it yet, but I wanted to use the Iona wool that I bought at last year's Yarn Festival. It smells very cheapy. So that's just from the Iona craft shop, and it's single origin yarn, and it's very rustic feeling. And I remember when we talked about it last year, I was thinking, oh, I'd like to make a hat with it, and you said, well, if it's rustic, then you probably shouldn't make a hat. Maybe make mittens. So
She actually listens to me.
I'm making
sometimes.
mittens. They're the photographer mittens. It's a free pattern. I can't just recall the designer, but the reason they're called the photographer mittens is because there's a little slit in the hand so that you can just stick out a single finger, so you can press the shutter on a camera. And the optional design is also to make a slit so you could have your thumb hanging out.
Texting thumbs.
So yeah, so now you can have mittens and have in text. And I know, you know, other people get that by doing the mittens
The
where
convertible ones.
the convertible ones, but then all your fingers are sticking out, and you know, but whereas with the slit, you just have the fingers you need, which is the index and the thumb, and the actual hole. It, you know, obviously there's a hole in the pattern, and while you're wearing it, but I feel like it's not that significant.
No, and it's pretty thick, so
Yeah.
yeah.
So the actual stitch of these mittens, it's called the waistcoat stitch, I think. And
You've used that many times before.
well, I've made these mittens before. I made them when I first restarted the crochet thing, and I made them. My tension was a lot tighter back then when I had first started, so the mittens are actually too small. I can get them on, but
They're not comfortable.
They're
Did
not
you make them with the
comfortable.
holes?
yeah, I made them with the
I don't
holes. I made
remember.
them with yarn that I picked up. Maybe I did talk about. No, I didn't talk about them. I picked up yarn at Ginger Twist when I was flat hunting here.
Oh, okay.
Just like British yarn. So it's iron weight yarn, and the actual pattern is a solid mitten or a striped mitten. So I went and did my own thing,
Yeah, you
and
design your own design.
yeah, I altered I altered it a bit. Like the thumb, my increases are a bit different on or decreases for the thumb as well as for the top of the mitten. But I also did some color blocking, so I could get in all 3 colors that I bought from Iona.
Yeah, very clever.
So they're kind of like triangles, I guess. So I got gray at the bottom, teal in the middle, and a sort of mustardy on the top. So I got one whole finished mitten. I'm annoyed though because I always do this. I was doing the cuff, and you're meant to do it. So there's 10 stitches. It's like a slip stitch ribbing, and I did the 10, and I was like, oh, that cuff is too long, so I'll make it 8. And now that it's all finished, of course, because it stretches horizontally, it's not that long. I'm like, it definitely could have been longer. So, it's long enough. But if it was just a little bit longer, it would tuck into your jacket nicely, and
Yeah, you can always rip it out and start over.
what, the whole mitten.
No, is there any way you can like graft something on or
I
something?
think you could try, but I think it would look funny enough that I would be too annoyed.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
So it is still a whip because I've only finished the one. I've pretty much perfectly finished this one. Although
except for the cuff.
no, the cuff's done.
Mm.
All the ends are woven in. I mean,
I
on the
see.
inside and
Mhm.
oh, perfect.
Yeah.
That's what you meant. I meant I've fully completed one mitten,
Yeah,
so I've got to do
done.
the
Yeah.
next mitten. But I'm really happy with it. I just kept hanging out, like, "Ee, look at my mitten."
You're very annoyed that you didn't have it today because it was very cold.
Yeah, it's very cold in Edinburgh today. But actually, you know what I was annoyed at? We were at the festival all day on Friday. We got there at 9 a.m. We stayed for the ceilidh. And so there was a lot of shopping time, a lot of downtime, chatting time, sitting down to knit crochet time. I brought my project bag. I brought the mittens. I brought the yarn. I didn't bring the hook. So I did in the end also buy
A new hook.
a new hook. And so I decided, because it's a 5mm, I have more than one 5mm. I have maybe 3 already.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, if I'm gonna buy another one, it has to be like something
pretty.
different, something pretty. So it's just a wooden, and
I think it might be bamboo.
Is it bamboo?
Wooden or bamboo? Let me see.
I can't tell. It seems like wood.
Yeah, maybe it's wood.
The brand is Anna and Juan, and it's got a little. It's like the ends of all
It's
the
like
different.
color dipped.
Yeah, are like color dipped, and this one is the number 5 is like a periwinkle.
So is it like color coded, like all the different?
Yeah,
Different
yeah, I
colors, I
think
think.
so. I can't remember which stall I bought it from. There's a
Was it the
brochure
knitted-
somewhere.
Knitted gifts one.
yeah. It was one that had sort of, it was like a haberdashery. It had
Mm-hmm.
buttons and shawl pins and regular pins and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought that, and a few other people also saw mine, and then they bought some because they're very pretty.
Yes, they are.
I think it's basically the only whips we have. We don't have any FOs because we've been busy shopping.
Yes.
And catching up because it's been so long since we've seen each other. 2 whole weeks.
Well, it's not just catching up with each other, but catching up with internet friends that we don't.
Yeah, well, we're actually
I've
at the
met
festival
for the first time, and you don't see unless it's a festival.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I think that was probably it was most definitely the best part, was the meeting of people.
Yeah, and just people that you feel like you've already met them, but then you actually meet them and you're like, no. This is the first time we've ever been in the same room together. And just also, like, I think, you see the person, you're like, I know I've seen their face before, and I'm pretty sure I know their Instagram name, but like, I don't want to like offend them just in case like they look like somebody else. And yeah.
Well, my problem is like meeting the video podcasters and like getting their names mixed up, because when you're watching the podcast, like especially if you're watching them back to back to back, you don't necessarily always catch their names, or I don't know, because most of them are kind of new to me, so I get the names mixed up.
Or is it just because you only see their face and not their voices, so you're like, I need the voice too.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know, but and I was so thrilled to meet Louise Hunt of Caithness Crafts Collective.
You were giddy. You were so giddy. She's your new best friend.
She is my new best friend.
Whether she likes it or
doesn't
not.
know it, yeah, I was afraid I might have scared her at one point, because I pretty much kidnapped her for the
recording
session. Yes.
Yeah.
And but no, I don't think she was pretty unfazed, I think.
But speaking of the ceilidh, so we went to the ceilidh on Friday night, and we didn't last very long, but we stayed long enough to do a few dances.
A couple dances, yes.
I'll put a video in.
Right here.
have a friend from back in
home.
New York who
is of Scottish descent.
And so she commented on the video and said, "Is that the gay Gordon?" And I maybe other Scottish people can watch us dancing and tell us if we were doing the gay Gordon or not, but I don't know. It was definitely, I think, probably the easiest one that was done all night, and that was the one we happened to do together. But it was really easy, but at the same time I kept like
stepping on each other,
doing the wrong thing, because I just, my younger sister is a dancer, but I have none of that. Like,
it's just 2 left feet.
it's not just that. It's just remembering what to do, and like I maybe have like long-term muscle memory, right? Like I remember how to ride a bike because I rode a bike 2 years ago. I still remember how to ride a bike, but it's just like, what was that? The pattern of steps that I was doing 2 seconds ago? I forgot already. Like I can't just let my body carry me because my body doesn't know what it's doing. But
by the end of the dance, you knew what you were doing though, because we just repeated it over and over and over.
But yeah, but I was also pooped because it was like there was no stopping. It was just like
I was like getting a little short of breath.
1, 2.
Towards the end, also. It was a long day for us.
Yeah, it was a long day. I did another dance with some strangers, and I think that's the one thing, like, everybody's like super nice and just like just there to have fun, and it was a set of group of 6 sets of 3, so I ended up with 2 strangers, and we were rotating around. I ended up dancing with Faye from the Crochet Circle and Claire from New Hampshire Knits, but we're definitely doing it wrong because sometimes my set of 3 would be in between 2 groups of 6, like not doing anything, like, well, we've miscounted something. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm glad we went. We met some new friends too.
We sat at a table with 3 Dutch women from Rotterdam.
They work in a yarn store.
Yeah, in Rotterdam. Maybe I'll put the name here, but I can't remember. Nope. See, I the thing in my head is like Spanish sounding, so I feel like that can't be right.
I don't think they ever told me. I think I was not part of that conversation.
No, I think I looked it up, or it was in their
in their bio.
Instagram. Yeah,
I don't remember their Instagram names.
but they were very friendly, and I mean everybody was friendly.
New best friends.
Yeah. So if you're watching, listening, hi. You know who we're talking about. We're talking about you.
Yep. So much fun.
Yeah.
I'm sad it's over.
Are you as sad that was over as you were when the Harry Potter play was over?
No, I was sadder with the Harry Potter. I'm sorry.
And this is proof that my mom might actually be a bigger Harry Potter fan than I am.
Well, because that was like shorter. This was 3 days worth, and that was just
You got it all. You absorbed it all in.
yeah.
Literally, that's all we've done this weekend. My mom has done pretty much
No
zero
sightseeing.
sightseeing. We walked down Princess Street a little bit to do some shopping
On the way home.
On the way home today. So you've seen the castle from the bus?
Yep.
You've been.
But I've been there.
You've been
already.
to the castle before, right?
We saw Arthur's Seat from far away.
Afar, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen the view from my window.
Quick fit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. But we did do a little bit of souvenir shopping, and I had a request. So this is shop talk.
Shop talk. Pearl and Plum.
Pearl and Plum. So I make these
Project bags?
Project bag. No, well, the tote bags out of tea towels. And
Well, for any new listeners,
Yes.
this podcast is sponsored by my mom's Etsy shop, which is called Pearl and Plum, and she hand sews. They're handmade, machine sewn. I don't know why I'm getting into this, but she makes project bags, and I have one in front of me. A lot of them have little drawstrings like this, but she also makes bigger tote bags, and she's gotten into making tote bags with tea towels.
tea towels, yes. So somebody had requested that I look for tea towels in Scotland, and so I found a couple that would be suitable for bags. So this one has
Sheep with little wellies, tartan wellies.
with tartan wellies.
Probably Royal Stuart tartan.
And this one is also a Scottish theme one with a few.
You've got the flag,
The thistle, a Scotty dog.
the bridge,
bag
the
high
Queensferry
paper.
Bridge, Scots
Oh.
Monument, some golf.
There's
I
Loch
don't know
Ness
where that is.
Monster. Isn't that that government building? What's it called?
What government building?
Oh my.
It looks like the the Sydney Opera House or a croissant.
Maybe.
Maybe it's in Dundee. I don't know. A little Highland Coup, the Douglas Monument on top of Calton Hill, maybe.
Yeah. So these will be. I'll make.
Oh,
that.
actually, you know what's funny?
What?
This. There's a picture of a statue. I can't remember who it's meant to be. The Duke of Wellington, maybe? Maybe it's in Glasgow? I don't know, but people always put a traffic cone on his head.
Oh, and is there a
And-
traffic going on the picture?
Yeah, in the tea towel, there's a traffic cone. And I'm sure,
Oh, yeah, I
there's
see
things
that.
about the government, the city council or whatever, trying to take it down, but people kept putting it back up, so they don't bother anymore. They just leave it up
too
there.
pretty. Okay, I love it. So yeah, so these will be
Bags.
eventually.
Tote bags.
Yes, they will be.
And
tote
they are
bags.
very limited edition.
Very,
Or they
very,
will be. They will
very
be
limited edition. So yeah, if you want them, you better snatch it up. But yeah, I'll give an update when we're in the shop.
Mm.
So that's it for shop talk, and I think we're done.
Yeah. It was basically all yarny bits and bobs.
Yes, just showing off our haul.
I feel a bit like our show in general, we don't do a lot of acquisitions.
No.
And so this makes up for the last year of no acquisition
No
section.
acquisition.
This is everything. Look at all the things we bought.
That's
It's
because we're
it's
not
very-
buying anything
it's
else for another
very
year.
Consumerist and yeah.
Yeah, which I don't usually like to do.
We
But
just
we're in
couldn't help
Scotland.
ourselves.
Well, I'm in Scotland. You're here too, but
I'm always in
you're
Scotland.
always here, and yes.
Fun,
So
fun, fun.
Are you ready to say goodbye?
Yeah, I think we're ready to say goodbye.
Okay. Do your spiel.
My spiel. Normally I have it written in front of me, but so we've got the show notes on our website, which is kcacypodcast.wordpress.com. And I feel like for some people that's a tongue twister, but it's just keep calm and carry yarn, KCACY. I think it rolls off the tongue very well. Our Instagram handle is also KCACY podcast. You can follow my personal Instagram at Allison here. That's Allison with one L and a Y. Or you can follow, my mom's personal Instagram at upstate_viv, V-I-V. What else? How else can you follow us? You can
Ravelry.
Join our Ravelry group. It's just look for Keep Calm and Carry On podcast in the groups tab, and you can tell us how Scottish BuzzFeed thinks you are. Although we might have given away some of the answers.
Oh wow.
So
They're not gonna remember.
And make sure to, like, comment, subscribe. You can subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, on iTunes. Now I think on Spotify there might be some kinks to work out, and also on Google Play in the US and Canada, because we're legit. We're so legit. I think that's everything.
Yep.
Yeah, so thanks for listening.
And remember to keep calm and carry on.
Bye!
Bye.